Some rare good news on the investment front for Zimbabwe. This week, the World Bank put out its latest Ease of Doing Business report. Now, it's a list that tells you which countries are good to do business in and which ones are not. The bad news is we're still on the wrong half of the table. But the good news is that we have moved up a few steps up on the ladder. Last year, we were 159 out of 190 countries. This year, we're at number 155. Small improvement, but hey, we'll take any good news right now. It's a tough table, so any movement up the ladder means someone did some really hard work. But what do we do right? First, we simplified the registration process for businesses. We cut out some of the unnecessary licenses. Construction permits are now being processed a lot faster. It used to take up to 90 days for some business licenses. Now it's just 32 days, and the number of procedures has also been cut down. This is all good news, but it's just one step. As ED always admits, we're still years behind others. While we're at 155, Kenya went up 19 places to number 61 in the world. As for Rwanda, they're number 29. Mauritius is the best country to do business in Africa. They're number 20 globally. What are these guys doing right? Let's put it this way. Any investor looks at their options. Say you have to choose between Rwanda and Zimbabwe. They're going to take a look at this report. To register a business in Rwanda, it takes them 4 days. In Zimbabwe, it takes 32 days. If they want to buy a property in Kigali, it takes them 7 days to transfer the property into their name. In Zim, 36 days. And to install power at a new property, in Zimbabwe, they have to wait 106 days for ZESA to do the job. In Rwanda, it's just 30 days. These are the numbers that investors look at. We have a lot to do. The good news is that there's a lot of bills going to Parliament right now that will change how we do business. One of those laws will give us the Zimbabwe Investment Development Agency. This will combine all the agencies that deal with investors under one roof. This means that investors won't have to skip from one office to the other, seeing this chef and that chef, to get stuff done. Hard as it is to believe right now, Zimbabwe actually attracted more foreign direct investment over the past year than before. According to Ernst & Young, Zimbabwe attracted 13 new projects. That's 2 times the number we had in the previous year. According to the report, this was because we dropped the indigenization law. We're not where we need to be. But you see, if just a few changes of the law can win us these few points, imagine what we can achieve if we actually make more and bigger changes. South Africa next door had 96 new FDI projects. This is where we need to be. These numbers are encouraging, but they're telling us one thing. We can do a whole lot better, and we should. Do we have oil or not? That is the question a lot of people have right now. We saw big front page headlines in the state media. ED confirms oil gas discovery. Even the Ministry of Information tweeted the same thing. ED has announced the discovery of oil and gas in Muzarabani. But then the company that's doing this project came out real quick and said, whoa, wait a minute, hold your horses. We haven't found any oil yet. Yes, we've done our surveys, but we think there could be oil, but we still need to be sure. So what's really happening? What's the truth? Let's start 25 years back. We had a big oil company called Mobil. Now they looked for oil in the Zambezi Valley. They did a lot of surveys, but they never completed their search. They said there could be a lot of gas and some oil, but maybe not enough for us to spend all this money on. So they put the report on a shelf somewhere. Everyone forgot about it. Fast forward to 10 years ago. Then you have this guy, Scott Macmillan. He's now the MD of Invictus Energy. He took up the search. Now, remember the last survey had been done in the early 90s, so there's been better technology now. He figured, let's take the mobile data and use modern methods to pick up where they left off. And this is what's been happening. So now Invictus says that new surveys show that the area shows all the signs of there being oil. In fact, Texas-based Netherlands Seawall and Associates says estimated prospective resources point to there being 181 million barrels of conventional gas and 680 million barrels of oil. But to be 100% sure, they still have to drill what's called an oil well. Now this is not like drilling a borehole, no. To get the oil, they must drill up to 5 kilometers deep. It's going to cost 20 million bucks. So we're a long way off from actually producing anything. According to one state media, this means all of our fuel problems are over. It's not that easy. Countries like Nigeria and Angola produce oil, but they still import most of their fuel. That's because it costs so many billions to build a refinery. It costs billions to install pipelines. It has been 12 years since they discovered oil in Uganda. No production has started there yet. Now there's a lot to talk about, but there's a lot of lessons to be learned here too. First, we need better communication on the economy. The president's statement didn't exactly say we have discovered oil. He only said there's exploration and results so far look promising. So it's surprising how that ended up on the front pages of the state media and on the government's Twitter feed. Our PR has to do better. Guys, you're not running PR for a Zimbabwe dancehall artist. If you were doing a PR for Jar Signal, yes, go for the big sensational headlines, mega deals, go for the hype and fireworks. But this is PR for a government. It has to be chilled, firm, factual. You have to say, look, we have a credibility issue with the public. They don't believe a lot of what we say. So we have to be careful with what we say, how we say it, and when we say it. We can't afford the sort of stuff that we saw with this oil issue, or even the stuff we saw recently with the economic policy announcement. And where are we with getting websites for our ministries, by the way? We have a national budget coming up on November 22. This too will need some good communication. We hope lessons have been learnt.
Lake Chivero, Handeku Parks.
So if Walter Magaya is to be believed, we finally have a cure for HIV, AIDS and cancer. We now have Aguma. That's Magaya's wonder drug. He says it's the cure we've been waiting for all these years. Guess Zimbabwe is about to become rich. But hey, you know our government. They don't want to see a guy living his life, living his best life. So they arrested Magaya for this.
So the apology that I carry is an apology of saying we rushed to announce what we were carrying without the authorities analyzing it. But at the same time, I want to salute the ministry, which has handled me like a child and showed me the way.
Yes, it is illegal to make false claims about a medicine. You don't tell people to buy your drug. The Medicines Control Authority of Zimbabwe is the body that regulates medication in Zimbabwe. And because it's November, I'm going to be really petty. Magaya's apology reminded me of Kudzai Chipanga. The prophet was handled like a child, and Chipanga made reference to his youth when he apologized for belittling the military. This whole thing reminds us of this guy, Yahya Jammeh, former president of the Gambia. In 2007, he announced that he too had found a cure for AIDS. Now, because he was a dictator, nobody asked questions. A lot like a prophet who can't be questioned in his own church, right? So what did Jammeh do? Well, he put people in HIV camps. The weirdest part, he said this miracle cure only worked on Thursdays and Mondays. Yes, a cure that only works on 2 specific days.
Take a deep breath.
Yahya Jammeh and Health Minister Tamzir Mbao experimented on hundreds of HIV-positive men, women and children. In 2007, the former Gambian president showed Al Jazeera how he cured them. That man has since died.
Jammeh was ousted in 2017. Those people he forced to take his treatment are suing him. 9,000 people were forced to take Jammeh's fake medicine. Many died. We don't even know how many. So you see, this is how bad it can get if anyone can claim a cure to AIDS. What's next? Lipstick that can cure diseases?
If you use this lipstick, it increases some particulars in your body.
Wait, we have that already too.